everyone. Hi, friends. Thank you all for joining me today. For those of you who may not know me, I am the Garden Goddess, and this is Planting Seeds. And today I'm in the same space as I'm normally in, but it's important because, well, this is Planting Seeds, but today's episode, we're talking about sacred space. And normally I'm always filming from my sacred space, but I really wanted to talk about sacred space in particular for today's episode because I've been really paying attention to the online Discord and everyone's kind of like talking about like manifestation and magic and self-love and like baths and like all this like yummy, juicy stuff. And I think that's like really fun and really cool. And I think that's awesome. And I felt like there's like an imperative piece that's missing in this online Discord that's happening as everyone's kind of journeying on their spiritual journey. And I think the most important thing that's missing in this online discourse that's happening as everyone's kind of evolving and getting ready to sort of transition into these new chapters is curating sacred space. And I think it's so important because sacred space is like where you go to rest. It's where you go to just be. It's where you go to really drop the mask and just let loose. And so, as you're sort of traveling and becoming who you're destined and designed to be, I think it's really important to have a space where you can just become. And you don't have to do, you don't have to be, you don't have to have anything together. You can just have a container where you can do and create whatever you want to create. And so for today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to create your own sacred space, and of course, share with you how I created my own sacred space, and how I learned to create sacred space for my own teachers, and some of the mistakes I made along the way. So hopefully, you don't make the same mistakes I did. And so that sounds fun. Join me. So like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let's jump right on in. All right, so before I kind of go into like all the steps of like how to create a sacred space, I kind of just want to give you an overview on what my definition of sacred space is. So I'm just going to refer to my notes. So for me, my definition of a sacred space is curating a sacred container to uphold your visions, your goals, and aspirations. It can also be curating a sacred container to uphold the version of who you are or who you want to become. So this involves keeping a safe space where you can just be. And so that's my definition of curating a sacred space. If you have a different definition, please comment below what your definition of sacred space is for you. And so for me, it's so important that when I'm making or curating a sacred space, that I'm trying to foster spiritual connection and growth. And so it's an environment for my becoming. And so when I'm curating sacred space, the first thing I like to do is create a space that's clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So whatever space that I'm in, the first thing I want to do is make sure that it's a space that I can uphold and keep it clean. And so I'm into environmentalism and sustainability. So whatever environment that I choose to participate in sacred space in, I want to make sure that I can uphold a space that I can keep clean. So wherever I'm living at, I can uphold the space. So nothing too big, nothing too small. And luckily I ain't got no kids. So if you got kids, that's a battle that you got to fight on your own. So prayers to you, stars and prayers to you. The next thing that I usually think about when I'm curating a sacred space is curating it to my liking. So, is it going to be spiritually curated? Is it going to be based on feng shui principles? That's something that I personally love. Or is it going to be curated to my African spirituality? I'm someone that's an initiated priestess into African spirituality. You might be someone that isn't initiated into African spirituality, but you might be Buddhist, right? You might be someone that is Muslim. You might be someone that is Christian. So having a prayer closet is very important to you. So having a space where you can have your closet and then having a specific corner for your prayer closet might be very important. If you're Muslim, having, I know a couple of my friends, they have their prayer corner where they have like their prayer rug and everything. Um, Curating your space to your belief system is very imperative, and curate to your spiritual practice may be important. Also, something that's easy on the eyes. I prefer a spiritually curated space that is based on peaceful colors. So nothing too loud, nothing too crazy. Like I remember growing up, I used to want a blood red room. And my mother was like, girl, hell no, this is not the devil's playground. You will not have a room painted the color red so we can have hell in this house. Uh, so so we don't have a bloody red room in these households. But like having a room that's based on principles of peace, peaceful colors, colors that are easy on the eyes. So when you enter into the space, your body automatically relaxes. And so peaceful colors can be like lavenders, um, really, really soft yellows, different color greens, being mindful of the blues that you choose because certain blues can bring about bouts of depression. If you're someone that has anxiety and depression, then you might need to be mindful of the color blues that you use, but soft greens, soft yellows, even pinks might be nice for you. I'm someone that loves a good beige. I'm a beige girl. I'm plain, right? Um, Whites might be good. Off whites might be even better for you. Yolks, fancying your room how you like, and not being afraid to curate a space how you want to curate the space. I have people um, in my life that don't always like to um, do up their rooms because they move a lot, right? They either move a lot or they just don't really like to take the time out to do up a space because they're busy or something always comes up, so they don't like to take the time out to make their space as beautiful as maybe they would like to. But taking the time out to make your house a home, to make your bedroom a sanctuary is important, not just for your growth as a human being, but for your mental health and your spiritual well being. To be able to have a sanctuary where you can unwind and really unravel fully is important. And so curate your space fully, like from head to toe. Have the lamps that you really like, have the bed sheets that you really like, even if it's a little more expensive, like be willing to go the extra mile to have at least one room in your home exactly how you like, I think is worth it. Totally worth it. And so the next thing I would recommend that you do is clean your space at least once a week. I know that I've seen Discord online about people cleaning their sheets. I've seen Discord, sorry, I've seen Discord online about how people clean their sheets. And I thought that was interesting because I've grown up in my household cleans. I mean, we clean. I mean, we clean. We clean the walls. Okay, I grew up in a household where we clean the walls, we clean the baseboards, we clean. So it was very, very um surprising to me how often people um don't clean. But you want to treat your space like it's a temple. If you want to have a sacred space, or if you're trying to curate a sacred space, especially if you're going to have altars in your space, you must keep it clean. You must clean your floors. You must clean your sheets. I mean, you don't have to clean your walls weekly, right? But if you're gonna have altars in your space, you need to clean your walls at least every season change. Like, so every like 4 months, clean your baseboards every seasonal change. So every 4 months, right? Clean your sheets every month at least. Clean your comforters every month at least. I clean mine every week, but that's me. So, but you must clean weekly, right? If you're going to have a sacred space and you're gonna have like altars in your space, you're gonna be doing rituals in your space, you're gonna be doing a lot of spiritual workings in your space, you must keep it clean weekly. You must. That's like a non-negotiable because you're doing a lot of workings in your space. You cannot leave the space dirty, especially if you're going to be doing work like money magic and like love magic. If you're going to be calling in things to you, you cannot call in things with a dirty temple, right? So, curing a sacred space, you're basically curing a space that's clean like a temple. You're curing a holy, sanctified space. And so you cannot have a space that is dirty. I had to say it with an accent, dirty. We cannot do dirty spaces. Oh, Lord, we cannot do dirty spaces. So if you're going to have a sacred space, you must keep it clean. Weekly cleanings. That's a non-negotiable. Physically clean. I'm not talking about cleansing tools. We'll get to cleansing tools, but physically cleaning your space, mopping, sweeping, like and then like as far as like the cleansing tools, because I know the cleaning tools, I'm someone that believes in eco-friendly cleaning. Um, that's me. Um, I think that kind of stuff goes hand in hand. I believe in what is it? Um, like white vinegar. I love a good white vinegar, honey. White vinegar, all-purpose cleaning sprays. And for me, I live in California, so we have what's called what are they called? They're like sustainable shops where you can drop off um your cleaning supplies, and they're like refill stations. We have that in California. I don't know if any other states have that, so I use that all the time. Um, that's a part of my ritual when I'm like cleaning up my sacred space. And so I believe cleaning is a part of a ritual in cleaning your sacred space. So that's all encompassing for me. So we'll get to the cleaning, the other cleansing tools that you can use, but cleaning your space weekly is a whole other topic that you must do. So the next thing when it comes to having a sacred space is setting intentions, right? And so if you're someone that can't have a physical space, like for me, I have a one whole room for my sacred space. But if you live with someone, like if you have an apartment or if you live in like dorm rooms or you live in an apartment and it's like multiple people, I know when I was living in LA, it was very common for 5 people to live in an apartment together. So you all you have is like a one bedroom, like literally just a bed and like a couple things. Then setting intentions is more than enough, and just keeping your space clean and just having like a little corner for your sacred space is more than enough. Just setting intentions and having a corner of setting intentions and having a corner of, okay, this is my corner for my time with God, my Bible or my altar with my water, my candle. This little corner, I'm just going to make sure that this corner is always good. My bed could be a mess, my life could be a mess, right? But this corner is always good. And setting the intention that, no matter what's going on with anything else in life, but this little area or this little corner of my heart, or this little corner of my room or my space is always going to be for um, bettering myself, or this little corner of my room is only for my self development, or this little corner of my room is my time with God. That's more than enough. You don't need a whole house for a sacred space. You don't need a whole room for a sacred space. You could just have a corner, right? You could have a box, really, and that's more than enough to have a sacred space, right? All right. And so then the next thing I want to share is the cleansing tools you can have to set a sacred space. And so this is great to use when you are trying to set a sacred space as far as like rituals go, right? Especially when you don't have a physical space, but you're trying to set a sacred space within yourself, and you're trying to get yourself to that mental sacred space within yourself. So, oftentimes, when you don't have the physical space to like get yourself in that meditative mindset to manifest, you have to utilize tools to get yourself there. What does that mean? So, oftentimes, when we are um, on a retreat, we're able to get ourselves in the mind frame to become the version of ourselves that we want to be, right? I don't know if recently if y'all have been on a retreat, but I know the last time I was on a retreat, I was on a high. I was on this vibration where I was like, yep, I know exactly the version of myself that I want to be. Like, I see like how much money I want to make. I see the business I'm going to have. Like, I saw it all, right? I was just on a high. Like, I was at the vibration I wanted to be at. I was just do 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 do. I was here, right? It was so easy to like be at that level, and then when you go home, you just drop, right? And that's you drop because you're not able to sustain yourself. And so when you're not able to be in those environments continuously, because none of us are able to be in those environments continuously, and you're not able to create those environments within your home because not all of us can, you need tools to get yourself there. So when you're creating that sacred space, hopefully you can do that by having a bedroom, right? And you're able to curate a bedroom where your bedroom can create that peace, that ease to like help you manifest. But if you can't do that, then you have tools that can help you get in that mind frame and in that vibration to take you there, right? So those tools are like ritualized tools to help get your mind in that meditative mind frame or that vibrational mind frame to get you to that state. And so those tools would be like incense, vibrational sprays, aromatherapy sprays. Or if you're someone that can't have like incense smokes, incense smoke or any sort of smoke around you, you can use things like essential oils within diffusers. And so how you can do that is, of course, you can just get incense or the incense sticks. You can wave it around and you can program your mind to get into that mind frame. So you can program your mind by utilizing a specific scent like rose, and you can smell rose and utilize it as a memory recall so that every time you smell the rose, you can think, I am abundant. And that's very simple. And so every time you smell the rose, your mind can go into an abundant mindset or a mind frame. And I do this by like I'm utilizing rose as an example because I have a rose incense, and every morning I burn the rose incense whenever I'm doing my morning ritual. And so automatically my mind goes into like a sacred meditative state because I've trained it to go into this sacred state to be like, okay, it's time to be in ritual. It's time to work with my ancestors whenever I burn the rose incense. Whenever I'm burning my rose incense, I'm working with my ancestors. Whenever I'm burning my rose incense, I'm meditating. Or whenever I'm burning my rose incense, I'm praying. You can do the same thing. And so even if you're not um, at that retreat, or even if you're not um, balling like a millionaire when you're smelling that cinnamon, if you can program your mind with that memory and you can train it to every time that you're burning it, you're doing something similar. Not my dog going on. Give me 1 second. Sorry, y'all. That was my dog agreeing. But if you can program your mind, even if you're not physically doing it all the time, but you can get your mind in that mental um state to always think it. There you go. Um, man, he made me lose my train of thought. Um, okay, so that's the cleansing tools. And then next thing is, oh yeah, curating sacred adornment. My favorite. Okay, so curating a sacred space with sacred adornment. Okay, so when you're in a sacred space or when you're trying to curate sacred space, even if you're not able to like, let's say be in like a big room, a way you can curate sacred space without having to always like have like all the things, right? Always like have like the big, you don't have to have the house, right? You don't always even have to be like in the room, but just have like the moment, the block. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to have all the things, but you can create the moment and have the space and the capacity by just like have one thing. Like whatever you wear, like whenever I wear this necklace, like I'm in my sacred space. Like whenever I wear this necklace, I'm in my sacred space. Like whenever I'm wearing this black robe, like I'm in my sacred space. Like nobody bother me. Like I'm in my moment. I'm with God right now, right? Having sacred adornment can help you curate sacred space, right? It can help you manifest like and help you be in your sacred container to like be in your becoming. Um and that was like one of my hacks because I wasn't always able to create like my room how I wanted to. I didn't always have the finances to create the room that I wanted to create. But I at least had $20 to be able to buy the robe that I wanted. So when I was creating the sacred space to be in the mind frame for my becoming, I was like, okay, I want to like connect. I want to tap in. So I'm gonna burn my little rose incense and then I'm gonna put on like my little robe and I'm gonna tap in. That that was my hack. Okay. I just want to put y'all on to like get into sacred adornment. Get into sacred adornment because that's a game changer. Because feeling it, being able to feel the version of yourself when it's not always like there, and sometimes it feels like it's not there yet, but being able to feel it, I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you something. Get into sacred adornment. Okay, that's it. That's all I want to tell you. Okay. And then the last thing I want to share with y'all is having particular music and curated, crafted prayers when you're curating sacred space. Having a playlist for your sacred space only and prayers only for your sacred space. So, like when I get up in the morning, I have a playlist only for my bedroom. Only for my bedroom. I don't play music anywhere else. I don't play that playlist. I don't play it anywhere else. Only for my bedroom. Setting sacred space for my space. And having prayers that I only say in this space for protection, to keep whatever energies in and keep whatever energies I don't want out. Yeah. Yeah, you need that. You need that, especially in this day and age where there's so much energies around, and it just sets the tone for your environment. Like, this is your space. Own your space, own your environment. It sets the vibration for your space. It sets a level of protection for your space. It creates like a flavor for your room. Like when people will, and you'll notice it, like when people walk into your room after you've curated it to your liking with its own music, with its own smell, with its own like sound, with its own prayers, like people are gonna feel it. They're gonna be like, "Ooh, I knew like I did something." When I remember I would have my girlfriends come over, and I remember they would come in my room, and as soon as they would come in my bedroom, they would fall asleep. Every time, like clockwork. It was like they would lay on my bed knocked out, even if they weren't tired, because the space was just so peaceful. It was just so relaxing. It was just so me. I curated a sacred space that was just so me, that the environment just, it was so calming to people's nervous system that they couldn't help but fall asleep when they entered it. And so, yeah, I hope this was helpful to you guys. This curating sacred space has been a game changer for me in my spiritual journey. It is it has been medicine for me in more ways than one, especially growing up for me as like a sensitive kid in a crazy teenager, learning to curate an environment to just be, to unravel, to feel whatever I wanted to feel, and then to become who I was destined and designed to be, and then to the woman that I am now. Um, it's amazing, and it's spiritual work, and it's medicine, and it needs to be talked about more. Yeah. So please like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know how you curate your sacred space. And I will see you all in the next video. All right. Take care now.